back to Biz Jet TV, and today's episode is the Biz Jet news for this week. So we're going to look at a few news items in the business jet market and see what's happening. The first piece of news is about the Pilatus PC-12. Pilatus are actually testing an auto throttle on a PC-12 and also a new 5-blade propeller. Now, what's the auto throttle going to do? It's going to basically allow the pilot, when he engages the autopilot and punches in the numbers, for basically the throttle to move back and forth on its own, commanded by the autopilot. Now, this is something that does reduce workload quite a bit for a pilot, especially when you're doing lots of climbs and descents and stuff like that. It's very, very useful if you're coming in on approach and you want to come in with the autopilot. You just have to basically rest your hand on the thrust levers, or on the throttle in this case, because it's a propeller, and the thrust lever will go back and forth according to the speed that you've set on the display. So this is definitely interesting news. This is not something that's definitely going to be certified, but Pilatus are doing some test flights with this. Also looking at the Denali, which is one of their competitors, and I think it's a TBM. They're looking at putting auto throttles on there. So Pilatus said, well, let's see about putting one on the PC-12. So let's just watch that space and see how this develops with Pilatus and the PC-12. Next thing, if you haven't already seen my video about the EHang 216 in Guangzhou, which is basically this two-seater drone, which is flown by an AI. If you haven't, click on the link above. The interesting thing is a report just came out recently about urban air mobility. So, urban air mobility report saying that there's going to be $318 billion invested in developing urban air mobility in about 75 different cities around the world. Now, you've heard about Guangzhou, which is probably going to be the first one, and then Vancouver, Miami, and Singapore have put their name down to do this. So this is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to really change the face of our cities and how we travel in these cities. So this is coming, and they reckon in the next 20 years we're going to see these changes as these skies get populated with these small, probably 2 to 6 seater electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. Next thing, unfortunately, another private jet crash, but like the one we talked about last week, everybody that was on board walked away without any damage, which was good. This is actually a Citation Latitude. Cessna Citation Latitude is the first one that crashes. Owned by retired NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. Him and his wife were on board with their daughter and their dog, and the two pilots, and they all managed to escape. Not quite sure what happened on this one. The weather was good. The wind was calm. The airplane came in. It bounced once, twice, and then the third time on the landing gears collapsed, and it caught fire on impact. But everybody managed to escape unscathed. So that's the important thing. Not quite sure what happened on this one. This did happen at Elizabethan Municipal Airport in Bristol, Tennessee. So we'll have to sort of see with the reports over the next few weeks on what actually happened there. My initial analysis is the pilots probably came in a little bit high, and consequently they dived, speed increased, airplane hit the runway like that, and then again and again. That's my looking at it with very, very little data. That's my impression of what happened, but I could be wrong. So we'll just monitor this and keep you updated on the developments on that one. And then the fourth one is interesting. Embraer, which is a Brazilian private jet manufacturer, actually unveiled an electric aircraft demonstrator the other day. It's actually an EMB 203 crop duster modified with an electric engine. They intend to start flying this thing in 2020, do some test flights, see where we go with this. So this could be the beginning of Embraer developing a private jet run completely on electrics. So let's watch that space and see what Embraer are going to be up to on this one. Well, that's all from Fab Poli at Biz Jet TV. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe, like this video, share this video, and I'll see you on the next one.